It's all about evolving, transformation, and embracing. ProfileMe is evolving, it's innovative. You, as an advisor, must evolve, must transfer, must be innovative, must create an experience. That's what we do. We are incredible to belong to a profession that's maybe not always appreciated, but that is noble. What we do, my fellow advisors, in our profession will create the future for the legacy for our young advisors and for old advisors once we leave and leave a legacy.
Good day and welcome to everybody here. We're super excited for ProfileMe's first open door session, and incredibly privileged and honored to have Kobus Kleyn here with us today. Kobus has been a big part of ProfileMe's journey, and he's also a huge advocate for the industry. And I'm hoping that today you could really take away something that you could go out and practice as of today, as soon as you walk out here. The purpose of our open door sessions is literally to bring to you industry leaders and thought leaders that will open their doors, and you have direct access to them to get insights and answers on not only how they utilize ProfileMe, but also on insights and best practices that they use within their own practices that you could take away and learn from. Kobus, let's just have a quick look at the current landscape that we have and some of the research. I love this picture on the left here. It shows that, you know, we often design these elaborate customer experiences or systems, and just like life, it doesn't always go that way. You know, often the user will dictate the path that is most convenient and familiar to them. And this is something we really need to bear in mind. You know, online experience and customer journeys, it's no longer a siloed approach. We used to see things very much siloed. You've got things that belong on computers, desktop computers, and things that belong on webs, on mobile phones. You've got stuff that is social on social media, stuff that's newsletters and emails. You've got messaging in a different place, and we used to approach them very, very separately and siloed. And you know, this is no longer the case. Just think about a shopping mall, the journey that you take through a shopping mall, from visiting the pharmacy to buying clothes to getting some groceries. You know, a customer experience these days is across various platforms, using various devices, and across a varied timeline. And we really need to, I'm referring to the picture on the left here, you know, what we design or what we set up, we really need to create a path that is easier for our clients to navigate in already very busy and disruptive journey. And bear in mind that your client is accessing your content across multiple platforms and devices. We know that with the pandemic, things have changed, and a lot of it is here to stay. The stats do show that. Whilst we will soon, maybe hopefully, be able to go back to some normalcy, to the way the things were, a lot of innovation has happened, and I think a lot of it has made life simpler and given us more time. And time is such a scarcity, and I think some of it will stay here. So just looking at the latest stats that we have is that mobile is now the #1 screen. It's taking over the majority of mindshare time. And in 2020 alone, mobile fueled 45% more financial engagement. Mobile is being hailed, a mobile phone is being hailed our adult pacifiers. It's something that we have with us all the time through the day. It's a platform or a device that we relate our successes to our friends and family. We share our griefs to our friends and family there. We ask for advice there. It's a device that we have an emotional connection with, and the studies show it's a device that we are more likely to trust and more likely to disclose personal information on there. Thus, getting closer to your client's mobile phone is probably a good strategy. I mean, our phones go with us everywhere throughout where we go in the day. And the stats do show that mobile is now the channel for influencing financial decisions. The Experience 2030 report says, if it's not online, it's not accessible. And if it's not accessible, it doesn't exist. And that relates back to the customer journey, where you are going to catch your client along that journey, somewhere on mobile, somewhere on desktop, somewhere on social, doesn't really matter. Your client is having a journey, you should be having a journey with them. And this brings us to, if so much of everything is online and a lot of it's on mobile, how do we bring trust into it? And I really love this quote from Arun Sundararajan. They did a big research paper on ride-sharing services. So that's when you get into a complete stranger's car, and you pay them for this journey. Same with Airbnb, you pay up front to go and stay in a stranger's house. In normal lives, we think that's absolutely crazy, but there is a way that it was basically implemented, and there is incredible success stories of how they made it work. And he says understanding trust is central to understanding the economy. I don't think it could be possibly better said than that. And when it comes to digital trust, digital trust is fast becoming the most valuable currency of the future. And that's because trust and online trust and reputation, it overcomes the limits of time and distance. We have seen that 92% of consumers say word of mouth, they trust word of mouth and recommendations from people over brands. So where does this fit in with online trust? It comes into the space where people are referring you digitally. So I would like to introduce you to the concept of digital word of mouth. And this is also a space that ProfileMe comes into. So if you look at that, and you also look at, okay, making a great first impression online, we are, as humans, we are visual creatures. 60,000, we process images 60,000 times faster than text. Usually it takes 7 seconds to make a first impression, but that's light years compared to the 50 milliseconds that you have to make a good impression online. So taking into account this, how things has evolved, the disruptive platforms, taking into account that we have to build online trust, taking into account that word of mouth is still your biggest ally, and taking into account the very limited time that you have to make a good first impression, in other words, your personal brand. I mean, how do you go about that? And that is really why Kobus is here today. I mean, Kobus has mastered, in fact, Kobus has made an art of this mastery of a journey. And Kobus, like I said, has been with us for a long time. And I think Kobus is really an expert when it comes to customer experiences and really understanding and getting into the mind of how a customer journey works. And he takes part in navigating every single part of his client's journey. He works out meticulously how that art is going to work and how it's going to make his client feel, with incredible results. We all know this. And Kobus, I mean, if you look at the incredible amount of effort that he puts into it, and he speaks at a lot of events as well, on this exact topic. I mean, he is an expert in this field. For his clients, creating chocolate QR codes, where in the meeting they would scan the QR code and they would literally eat the QR code. They scan it, the profile comes up, and they eat the QR code. That's an absolutely memorable experience. And we've also seen wine bottles. There's one. There's personalized wine bottles with a QR code in there, so that the client can scan it and they know it's from Kobus, and they can just get re-familiar with his profile. And he brings his ProfileMe into just about every single part of his client journey to just reiterate and create familiarity and trust. And the main thing about trust is, I mean, how do we feel when we trust people? We feel safe. That is what trust is about. And then Kobus is also very much known, or those that don't know, amongst those that do know, Kobus is very well known for a WhatsApp broadcasting strategy that is second to none. He has created a strategy using his WhatsApp broadcasting as well as combining it with his ProfileMe. What has happened is Kobus has literally created a distribution network, if you could call it that, where he is a source of truth for his clients. And I've personally experienced that as well, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So yes, that is from my side, that is it. And I'm going to hand over to Kobus now. And Kobus, just thank you for being here. And let's get started. Let's hear more about what you can tell our audience here today and what they can take away with them. Kobus, it's like I said, it's an absolute privilege to have you here. You've been a really, really big part of our journey. And I remember from the first time I met you, I had a meeting at your office. I remember you were sitting on the other side of the table, and I was explaining the concept to you, and I had a mock-up for you to look at. And you said to me at one stage, I have to come sit next to you. And you said, I never do this. I never ever do this, but excuse me, I have to come sit next to you. And you came and you sat next to me. I had my phone there on the table, and you were literally rolling up your sleeves. I think you even took off your watch. You put your watch down, and you were really getting into the phone. And in there, you saw something, that excitement that I saw there. You saw something extra though. There was something that you saw that was absolutely amazing, and you knew where this is going to fit into your process, how you are going to make it your own, because you do call it your own app, and all of you should. And you just saw something and you took it to the extra level. Could you possibly take us through that journey and tell us what is it that you saw in that moment?
Good morning, Razan. Good morning, everyone, and from all over the world. I couldn't be more excited to be here to talk to you about something I'm so passionate about, and all the different tools I use and how to turn your clients into advocates. And I remember that day specifically. Well, let me go back to 2005. I remember the first time I went onto social media, and specifically LinkedIn, as far back as 2005. And about 2.5 years ago, I was looking at how can I use all these platforms I'm using, LinkedIn and Instagram and social media and emails. How can I incorporate this into what I call now a single desktop app? And I was looking for an application, and I was looking for two things, a domain and an application, to make convenience and online communications. And it's all about online communications, but to make that as convenience and to make it an experience with my clients. And 2.5 years ago, as I was sitting and working with this, I was introduced to you. And when you walked into my office, it could not be at a better timing, because I was looking for this for 6 months. And when I saw that ProfileMe app, or what you call the card at that stage, a QR code card or electronic business card, I didn't see a business card. I saw an application. I saw something that I can have a one desktop application where I can link my social media to, my clients to, and I can have this all incorporated for convenience of my clients. And when you walked in there, as you say, what I saw was so impressive. And at that stage was at the beginning stage, that I could not get on top of that quicker, because I needed to take my personal branding to the next level. Yeah, I've done a lot over the years. And social media is very powerful to build the personal brand. But to be able to take it to the next level is never easy if everyone else is already on social media. So ProfileMe brought something new, something that was new on the market, something unique. And when I saw this, I knew you were a destiny that came into my office at that day. That's been 2.5 years ago. Today, it's part and part of my practice. And I hope to tell you more about that part and part, because I had to disrupt my practice and my personal brand. I had to take it to the next level. And between my domain, I'll speak about now, and ProfileMe, that one entry access between both of them, I was able to create that next level of personal branding.
That's great, Kobus. And I remember we put in an enormous amount of effort into it, from the testimonials that we went to get, and not only that, how they were stacked, and there was absolutely no stone that was left unturned. And you really knew exactly what you wanted, how you wanted, and how it was gonna work. Kobus, when it's a question that we get a lot of the time. So we've built this, or we built this Rolls Royce of an app for you, or a ProfileMe, a personal branding profile for you. How did you first introduce it to your clients, and what was the reactions?
It is very important that if you bring something to the table, if you want to create a value proposition to your clients and experience, it's very important that you take it all the way. Now, I'm a bit OCD, as some of you may know. So I do put attention to detail. It's very important. And to me, how I brought that app to my clients was critical, because you can have the best app, you can have the best tools. If you don't take those tools to the next level and incorporate it into your strategy that you've planned, it will never work. So the first thing I had to do was make sure this ProfileMe has got the integrity and the credibility, because it's your brand. And it's what your clients are going to look with and what your clients are going to feel proud about. So what I had to do was use my current communication tools at that stage. My current communication tool was my email, stay in touch client email, and my broadcast WhatsApp list system that I had. And what ProfileMe makes it so much, they've got a QR card, or a QR scan card, if you can call it that, and it's got a link. Now, if you do it correctly, you can use your email and your broadcast to communicate with your clients, so they can incorporate it. Simply, there's a format you use, there's slides you can use, there's a video you can use, and you make sure that when you put it on your WhatsApp broadcast or on your email or whatever other communications you are using at that stage, that they have the ease and convenience of pulling that thing through to their communication system with you. So here's one of the important things, and that is to make sure that they use it effectively on their home screen, either on their cell phone home screen or their desktop. And I would always remember, one of the things that was important to me was get it on my client's home screen. We all have mobile phones. We all use those mobile phones. It is a captured audience, as I call it, that mobile phone. So ProfileMe allows you to show your clients how to pull that onto their home screen, and how to pull your photo, your front photo, as part of your ProfileMe on their home screen. And once they've got it on their home screen, they will look at you when they wake up. They will look at you when you go and sleep. Now, be careful that if you don't inform your spouses or your clients that they're going to do it. And for instance, I remember one of my clients, a spouse client, a wife, pulled it on her screen. And when the hubby saw this, he was not very excited about it. Who is this man? So she pushed the button, she opened it up. No, this is Kobus Kleyn, my financial planner. He, at that stage, wasn't my client. Said, well, maybe you should have him on your home screen. So the way we do it, the way we use all our systems, how we integrate it, you have to get it for your clients to use. And that takes time. It took me months to get my clients to all on it. Now, these days, I feel most of my clients are on it. I can't say 100% is on it, but how I use it with them, how I make the ease of communication with me easy. That is what ProfileMe offers you, Razan.
Thank you. That's brilliant, Kobus. And I love that story about luckily the marriage was fine, and also their finances. But that's a really good story. And I know that you always say that you not only tell your client to get it on their home screen, you tell them to tell their friends and their family and their providers, for instance, their lawyers or their associates, to save it on their home screens. If anything happens to them, they've got to contact you. I know that you create that distribution mechanism as well. And I think that works really, really, really well. Kobus, with this whole process that you've implemented, do you think, how has your clients, do they refer you to other people? Or I think the word is introduction. I'm not quite sure. How do we name it? But does your client, introduce you to other people?
You know what's very important, Razan? I don't like to use the word refer or leads or give me names. I call it introduction. And what this talk is about, to a certain extent, is how to turn your clients into advocates. The amazing thing is when your clients become advocates for you, like I became an advocate for your company, ProfileMe, for instance. That is when you turn your clients into advocates. They do introductions. So what is an introduction? An introduction is not somebody give you a name. No, an introduction is somebody arrange a conference call with John, Peter, and myself. And Peter says, John, this is Kobus. I want to introduce you to him. I'm proud that he's my financial planner. An introduction is when you use your ProfileMe on a WhatsApp, and your client takes that ProfileMe link and forwards it to John. And Kobus Kleyn, open his ProfileMe. You be surprised. I'm very proud to show you. It's about being proud. Your clients being proud, and then you will never have to ask for referrals. Actually, you will never have to ask for introductions just out of interest. If you still have to ask for referrals or introductions, I believe you're doing something wrong. You're either not an advice-based practice, either a policy selling practice, or you're either pushing practice, or you're either making your clients frustrated. Because when your clients are frustrated, they are not going to introduce their friends, their colleagues to you. So never, never be a pushy salesman. Always be an advisor that first focus on advice. So when that goes to clients, clients have got the optimal tool to introduce clients to me. And once I've got an introduction, either via email where I've been copied off, via WhatsApp message, there's so many, I can't think about all the different ways, but I introduction. I don't want introduction more because I've got too many clients. And the problem is when your business is too strong and people love you and they're proud of you, and you have this massive online communication system, you are going to become popular. Be willing with that popularity through social media, through your broadcast, through your email, and be able to communicate an action that experience, create the value propositions that your clients are proud of what you do. And that means you have to put yourself out there in a humble manner. And when you do that, you will not worry about referrals or qualified leads or prospecting. I promise you, if you do it correctly and you focus on your personal brand, and your personal brand is made out of many factors. It may be social media, it may be ProfileMe, it may be your domain, it may be you being an author, you being a speaker, it may be you involved in the profession with the FBI, the FIA committees and so on. But if you don't put it out there, how's your clients going to know it? How are they going to feel proud about you? So if you do this that way, if you turn your clients into advocates, introductions become the norm of every day. I have to tell you this story quickly, if you don't mind. This week, actually last week, I got an introduction through a WhatsApp broadcast that went out. This client of mine introduced her friend to me, coincidentally a guy of age 63. And he then took my ProfileMe and responded through my ProfileMe to my WhatsApp. He says, Kobus, I've been not following you on your broadcast, but Jane has been sending it all to me. And I get these messages every day. And I've become so aware of you that I'm now in a position where in the next year, I want to take retirement. That man I saw on Monday, he's got 9 million in voluntary capital, 3 million offshore, and 8 million in his pension fund after 40 years with one company. Did I have to introduce myself? Did I have to explain myself? Not at all. It was an easy meeting because he already knew everything about me. I already built the trust with him through the broadcast WhatsApp and through using my ProfileMe. And through ProfileMe, he could go into all my recommendations, all my credentials. It's an amazing, powerful tool.
It's amazing. I mean, yes, it creates introductions, great introductions, which you can't always take. That's where the waitlist practice comes in. But it also creates this incredible community that you've built. And, they are a distribution network in their own sense, but what you're giving is real value. And it's not necessarily, product related all the time. You're really touching at people or touching people at the core of what is needed in their lives. So I think that's really amazing. And I can see how people advocate from there. So just on WhatsApp broadcasting, Kobus, you are incredibly active. I get questions about this all the time. How do you do it? How do you decide on what content? How often? I get these questions all the time, and we know that you're an absolute master on that. So just very briefly, how do you decide on what content you're going to put on? Did you watch the trends in the news, or do you get a general sense of where there's panic, or how do you decide on the content? And then how often do you put it on? And what would you, the third part is for other people just starting out, what would your advice be to them on how to get started and maybe at a slower pace?
So one of my good friends, Mr. Slatter, Tim Slatter, when I attended one of his courses a couple of years ago, said it's always about online communication, but it's not always about the content. Sometimes it's about the message. And he's so right there. So I try to keep it topical. And I do try to stay away from advice and products. That's the interesting about my broadcast WhatsApp list, my clients stay in touch, and my domain. I just want to bring that together because I always had an email stay in touch, and that I use for regular communications to my clients, general communication, not product sales. It doesn't mean I won't talk about retirement annuities and all those things. Secondly, I have the WhatsApp broadcast, and that I use much regularly. But let me come back to the broadcast. I used that for many years. But my gosh, did that tool become my most favorite online communication tool over the last 18 months, and specifically since January 2020, when we all were involved in this phenomena, once in a lifetime phenomena. And therefore, and then I have my domain, www.kobuskleyn.com. That's not a web page. That is the domain where my clients can read about me being an author, a thought leader, getting involved with nobility, and all of these things. There's no product on that domain. How I incorporate that email, that broadcast, and that domain, all three, into ProfileMe. And from my domain, you can go to ProfileMe. From ProfileMe, you can go to my domain. And obviously, my email always have the link and the QR code linked to the bottom of both of those. And whenever I do a broadcast message, it must be topical. It must be factual news, not fake news. You must, over this phenomena and in the future, become the beacon of light for your clients and for their friends and colleagues. Because let me tell you, this thing gets circulated. I mean, I get it from tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And then I hear from a person of tier 4 that this was forwarded, that comes back to me and says, Kobus, I got this message from this guy and this guy and this guy that I don't even know. But I've been told to talk to you because I've been following you now through these messages. And the content, so I keep myself up to date with Sky News, CNN. I'm a boring person. I love to watch CNN and Sky News. I love to know about trumpet and Brexit and all these type of things. Now it's a bit boring because trumpet is gone and Brexit is gone. And how you've mastered that content. And some of it is content on email, and some of it is the message on broadcast. And how you put that forward, how you make your clients know what's happening in this world. So my clients don't anymore read WhatsApp or Facebook from other people that says President Ramaphosa is going to talk to us at 8 o'clock. No, they wait till Kobus sends out a message at 5 o'clock the afternoon saying President Ramaphosa is going to talk about COVID or level 1, level 3 at 8 o'clock. They then forward that to their whole family because they've got to realize that when Kobus says something, when Kobus predicts something, it is accurate. And that becomes the source of their trusted advisor. It becomes the source for their friends and colleagues to not get all these wrong messages. So when there's a scam out there, Kobus tells them about the scam. They circulate it. So your content, your message on all those communication tools are critical and crucial so that you become the beacon of light. You become the hope in their life when they have financial hardship, when they have wealth hardship in their family. And what a great opportunity over this last year that broadcast message has brought to me and my clients, and how much that can share is the most amazing thing. And how we deal with those messages. When I sent out the message, I do it very regularly. This last couple of weeks, it slowed down because there's not much big news in the paper. And you don't do it every day just for the sake of doing it. You want to do it because it's topical. Because if you do it topical, then it doesn't get boring to your clients. Then they're excited to wait to get that message at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. The other thing about social media or my broadcast messages or my emails, I don't have a time when I decide to do it. Thursday is the best time, Friday, Monday. No, I communicate when I feel I have something to say. And my clients being all over the world, they have different time zones. So they will open it when they feel. If I put something on LinkedIn, It's not about putting it on 8 o'clock on a Monday morning when most people are going to read it. No, it's just putting it out there. And if you build a habit and you're putting it out consistently out there, people are going to read it. Actually, people are going to follow it. And if you become the accurate news, the factual news, and not the fake news, the message of positiveness, the message of embracement of this new world, you will never have to worry what to put on that broadcast message or on that email.
What I really like about it is fake news is disruptive. All of the staying up to date with what's happening with this pandemic, it's not only disruptive, it's unhealthy. You know, we struggle with keeping up with what's what. Social platforms are themselves are disruptive, and I like that you've brought in this mechanism where you literally park the car completely in front of that. You disrupt all of that, and you say, I cannot wait. You know what? I've got this. I've got this for you. Don't worry about all of those stuff. I'm gonna deliver to you, you know, the source of truth. We often talk about the one source of truth, and you know, and that's also a place to build trust. And Kobus, when you create these messages, I always see that you'd have, for instance, a visual that you use, a visual that you created, and then you've got your message. And then you add your profile link at a ProfileMe link at the end, and you sometimes call it a ProfileMe app or Kobus ProfileMe app or Kobus app. You put your link at the end so that the feature image pulls up at the top. So you see tile, you see your face, you see the message, and at the end they can click on the link and they can go into your profile and, you know, get done what they need to get done, and also get refamiliarized with what you do, because people don't often, you know, we lead busy lives. So reiterating and refamiliarizing your clients with what you do. If you do stuff for individuals, if you do employee benefits, just reiterating. If you've got associates that do tax, people can get a will. Every time they go there, they can get reminded that you know, that is something that can be done. And I mean, broadcasting doesn't always just have to be news. You can have conversational topics relating to things people need to think about, where you can add a tile and to write a little blurb about that if you know it's good quality content, and then add your link in there. I think that works really, really well. And I love this, you know, how do you say disrupting a captured audience? That's correct.
Yep. So let me go back to one point you've made in the beginning, because this is also interesting. You know, one thing about WhatsApp broadcast, and you learn with experience. That's very interesting. So, for instance, when I do a broadcast, and at one stage I did at least one a day, and at different times of the day, obviously, and a picture tells 1,000 words. A picture tells 1,000 words. I would always, and I would personalize it, take a picture, put my name onto it, and make sure I first attach the picture to the WhatsApp. Then I will write the message below the picture, and I'll do it offline first. Then I'll write the message. Then I will attach either my ProfileMe or my domain. There's a ProfileMe or www.com. So to keep it interesting, so it's got different headings when it starts. Then I will write the content. Now, the first time I did it a couple of times, I attach the picture and write the message. Now, when people want to forward it, I don't know if you're aware of it, they can only forward the picture. The message is never forwarded with it. So I learned that when I quickly said, you better separate it. So when people want to forward it, you can highlight the picture and the message. And that is the first important thing. The second important thing is you don't only use that ProfileMe or your domain only on your broadcast message or on your email. I mean, social media gives you great opportunity on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, maybe if you want to, on LinkedIn, to actually attach that links at specific opportunities to a post that you're making. If you're really making a post and you want introductions, you want clients from LinkedIn, then post it with your post, because it immediately highlights it, clicks on it, and therefore it gives you the views that you require to bring prospects to your either domain or to your profile. It is a captured audience. We have a phone that everybody keeps in their hand all the time. I mean, some people sleep with the blooming phone these days, just in case it makes a noise and they want to talk to somebody or check somebody out. That's a captured audience. And how you incorporate that captured audience through all your communication tools, as Tim Slater calls it. Sorry, I'm referring to him so often because he's a good guy. That Tim Slater refers to as your online communication tools. That is a captured audience. Capture your audience, capture your prospects, capture the advisors, capture the audience you intend to do something for. It may be for clients, it may be for the profession, it may be for many, many reasons, but use that captured audience. I want to just use this moment to talk about a little bit about turning your advocates into clients, because all of this I've been talking to is all part of a process. I think some of you would know that I had what I referred to as a 95% office-based practice. Yes, it took me many years since I attended an MDRT session in 2012, where I learned about an office-based practice. It took me years to create an office-based practice where my clients come to my office 5 meetings a day, and it doesn't matter if it's lawyers or psychologists or CEOs. I was proud that I was their lawyer, I was their CEO, they come to my office. In January 2020, in December 2019, when I was on holiday in Cape Town for a month, I heard the word Wuhan. I spoke to my fellow MDRT members all over the world, and I heard that they can't visit their clients and their clients can't visit them. I knew I had to disrupt myself. I mean, I created this massive office-based practice with a massive experience that my clients were proud to come to. And that's a different story. But imagine you have to go from a 95% office-based practice to a 95% virtual hybrid practice. Well, I set myself a target of 100 days. If it wasn't for the tools like ProfileMe, my domain, and my email, and my online communication strategy, I would not have been able to pivot my business into a 95% hybrid virtual business. And I'm really starting to wonder about the word hybrid, because at this stage, I'm finding it difficult to get any clients in my office these days, because 98% of my clients has gone hybrid. And why? Because I'm creating a new experience. I'm creating an online virtual digital experience. And without these type of tools that I'm talking to you about today, that I'm using, I would never have been able to turn an office-based practice from a mobile practice many years before into a hybrid virtual practice. It's an amazing setup.
Just all of you, we got news today, and I will distribute the link to that. And for those of you that are on Quickly Sign, you can now embed Quickly Sign forms right into your ProfileMe, and you can create custom Quickly Sign forms as well. Rob at Quickly Sign is the person to talk to. The website is already up and running. ProfileMe members get 10% discount on Quickly Sign. So we're super excited about this. We're super excited that your clients are going to be able to get things done straight from their mobile phone. You're going to make life simpler. So I just wanted the news literally came in a couple of minutes before we started. And so I want to make you aware of that. We're really, really, really excited about that one. If you could give the audience a couple of takeaways to take with them today, and maybe, I know you've had a very long journey, there's lots of things and a very long career and another career prior to that, if you could give a couple of takeaways on your philosophy of not only your practice but also your life, that I hope would motivate and inspire people here today.
Well, let me go back one step. If you have a virtual world, and you've mentioned something, and I don't want to punt it, but you have to have an online signature method. And I must tell you, one of the other great tools I've implemented is Quickly Sign. I use it very effectively. It's an amazing tool because that's made my virtual world complete. I want to come back then to leaving some notes and some takeaways for the audience. Firstly, to me, it's about positiveness. I think many of you that has followed me know I'm a very optimistic and a very positive person, and I always see the silver linings in the dark clouds. And in this case, the COVID dark clouds that we've had for the last year. And if you see the silver linings, if you can turn a crisis in an opportunity, and if you can use the right tools to help you to turn that crisis in opportunity, your practice will become so much more sustainable in the years to go, because you will become the trusted advisor to all your clients out there and to all the prospects and introductions they will do for you. So stay positive, because positiveness is all in it. And it's all about mindset. It's about manipulating your own mind, Because if you don't control your mind will control you. That is the worst thing that can happen when your mind starts controlling you. So you have to manipulate your mind. And it's, I always say it's about forming habits. And Tanya Kunzen, that was on Francois' show a couple of months ago, talked about the 66-day habit forming. Now, you just have to tell your mind for 66 days that you are positive, that you only believe in positive things. Hopefully, your mind will still listening to you and it will create a new habit. So use your mindset for you and your clients to stay as positive as possible in these tough times. Then I want to tell you, it's important that you can bring the horse to the water, but you can't make him drink that water. I hope this talk has made you thirsty, at least, so you will drink the water and start using online communication tools to the full impact that we hear so much on LinkedIn, etc. That you will, if you don't have ProfileMe, and I'm not punting this, I believe in ProfileMe, that you would actually start using it for the right reasons and make it an action point over the next 100 days to get your online communication up and going so much more effective. Because when you do it, you will turn your clients into advocates. And it's about everything you do that you put out there, that your clients so much want to share you with their friends, their colleagues, that they want to give you introductions. I want to leave you with these two important points. Be a disruptor or be ready to be disrupted. Disrupt yourself, as now is the moment in history where you can do it. Lastly, be the hope you want to see in the world. Become the hope your clients are looking for in you over these tough times.
I think that would conclude our session for today. Kobus, thank you very much for joining us. All of our guests here from all over the world. I see somebody from Canada as well. And we've got Peter from the Netherlands. I know there's some UK people here as well, and from across the whole industry. Thank you for joining us. Kobus, thank you for being such a good advocate for ProfileMe and helping us in our journey and us helping you in return. And thank you to the fellow service providers. I mean, there's great collaborations going on. The stuff that Francois du Toit is doing, for instance, this quickly sign thing, it was literally, we organized it yesterday and it was just, yes, let's do it. It's going to make life simple. So I'm really excited about that. Kobus, thank you very much. A good day to you. I hope you have a wonderful day.